What is up, everybody? Welcome to Heads Up Play. We are back. We are back.
We are back.
It is episode 45, Heads Up Play. We are actually going to have a little bit of fun there. We're going to talk NFL, NFC South preview, my favorite division in football. It's probably the weakest division in football, but it's my favorite division in NFL. We are going to get into it today. We're back, but hey, you know what? Let's get started. Episode 45 coming at you.
Right as you were talking there, my stupid Alexa was going off telling me Happy Friday. Yay.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but yes, episode 45. John Rivers Nix is back. We are here. Now, he's about to leave us again. He's going to go on a cruise, but I'm going to be gone too. So a little vacation week coming up for Heads Up Play.
4th of July.
4th of July. Everybody take your 4th of July. Go eat your grilled chicken, your steak. Go shoot some fireworks.
My question of the day is going to revolve around 4th of July stuff.
Okay.
Let's not talk too much about 4th of July foods and activities because that's the question of the day, man.
That's right. We did. I will say, guys, I don't know how it happened, but I just made a random video yesterday talking about some EA college football, and it blew the hell up. So obviously you guys like that kind of stuff. We're going to bring you some more of that kind of stuff, and it was really fun.
Comment what kind of videos you want us to react to.
Yeah, we're going to do more reaction-style videos. Let us know what's something you want us to take a look at that you think would be pretty cool for us to enjoy. Let us know. But yes, we are here.
And comment what your golf handicap score is.
What is your golf handicap score? Look, we're not going to touch on the debate. We might just throw some sly comments in there every now and then.
But we know Trump and Biden, so I'm curious what your handicap golf score is, everybody.
Mine personally is a 6.
I lied.
No, I have no. To be honest, I don't even know what a handicap is. We're big golf people.
It was funny when Biden goes, mine's a 6. I lied. It's an 8.
Yeah, and Trump was like, yeah, that's what I thought.
It was pretty funny.
So, yes, NFC South, you mentioned it, probably the weakest division in the NFL. Very well could be one of the more competitive divisions, though. Would you agree with that, at least?
Competitive
between each other. I mean, I do think that and we'll get into it, but I think the Saints could be a little bit better. I do think that the Falcons are going to be better. I do think that the Panthers are going to be slightly better. And I think the Buccaneers are going to stay just as good as they were last year, maybe even a little bit better. So this is still a weak division, but not that much stronger than it was, but still at least a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get started with probably the worst team, and that's the Carolina Panthers. Do you agree with me? You think they're probably going to be the worst team in the division?
Yeah, 100%. Look, this was the worst team, at least one of the worst teams in the NFL last season.
It was the worst team last year.
Yeah.
If you remember, they traded the first-round pick to get Bryce Young, and then they gave it to the Bears, and the Bears got the first-round pick last year. Or this year.
Look, so Dave Canales, maybe something connects this year. Maybe Bryce Young goes out there and he has a better season. And look, Bryce Young did not have a great rookie season. I think you and I can both agree with that. But he didn't have the things around him to make him have a good season.
I mean, he can only take so much of the blame. When you get a head coach like Frank Reich and your best wide receiver is an Adam Thielen who is the age of, how old is Adam Thielen? He's already past his prime. Adam Thielen, who's 33 years old. In wide receiver terms, he's about 45. I mean, Adam Thielen 7 years ago, oh, yeah, that would have been pretty cool. But, I mean, yes, Adam Thielen did put up a 1,000-yard season, but only because he was the only wide receiver on the team that could do something. You signed Miles Sanders to a massive contract from the Eagles after they reached the Super Bowl. He does absolutely nothing. And you fire Frank Reich first season, midseason. I mean, what are you expecting?
Well, look, that's Panthers ownership right there. Look, we've talked about it before once or twice about how the Panthers ownership, they never want to commit to anybody. They don't want to commit to a head coach. If you're a head coach at the Panthers, hey, maybe you'll be there three seasons, maybe. So I mean, they are quick to get rid of some guys, but I do think that Bryce Young can be a very good quarterback in the NFL. Do I think that he has the makings of being like a top level guy? No, I don't think that he necessarily has the size for that. And he doesn't have the protection for that, to your point. And he needs some more weapons around him. Let's talk about some of the offseason moves, though. Who'd they bring in this year?
They got a lot of offensive line help. Massive help from, big contract. Robert Hunt, guard from Miami Dolphins, and Damian Lewis, guard from Seattle. He knows Damian Lewis and Dave Canales. Am I pronouncing that right? Canales. They know each other because when Canales was the quarterback coach with the Seahawks, when he revitalized Geno Smith, he was there. So you got Hunt, who's a stud out of Miami. Lewis, stud. And then you also address the wide receiver issue. Okay, you get Dante Johnson from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Massive. I think Dante Johnson is very underrated. And you also get in the draft, they trade in the first round, got Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. Xavier Legette. I'm excited to go to Carolina, man. It's going to be great. I think Xavier Legette is very underrated. This was a draft class heavy in wide receivers, and I even said in the draft recap, I thought that was a very good pick for them at 32 in the first round.
And don't forget here, good Texas player, Jonathan Brooks there in the second round. Good running back. I think that was a solid pick there in the second round. Could help out in the backfield a little bit for the Panthers. Again, this team is not going to do much. Best case scenario, best case scenario, 6 wins. Best case scenario, best. Like maybe you pull an upset out of your hat every now and then. But I do think that this team will be better than a 2-win. Or how many was it? 1 or 2 wins last season? I think they pulled one out at the end.
They beat the Falcons. I remember that because I was pretty upset about that.
Yeah, it was only 1 or 2 wins though. I do think that they will get maybe 3 or 4 wins, but not much more than that. This will be the last place team in the division.
2-15.
2-15. That's what I thought. So yeah, look, you're gonna need to see some growth with Bryce Young. You and I both expect to see that.
I truly think he'll get it because what Canales did with Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay last year as the offensive coordinator, I think that's massive. And then, of course, they had to get offensive coordinator Brad Atkiss. He was the wide receiver coach from Tampa Bay last year. I really think Canales is going to unlock Bryce Young's potential. I mean, he already did it in Seattle with Geno Smith. I mean, who would have thought Geno Smith, one of the biggest busts of all times, was going to be a Pro Bowler?
Yeah, look, I think that this will be a growing year for Bryce Young and in year 2. And we talked about it, you and I personally, but obviously we started doing this podcast in the middle of the NFL season, but we kind of pondered on, should Bryce Young sit out the first season, right? That's what a lot of teams do. And they probably should have done that, but at least now he does have a year under his belt. We'll see how they go from here. But that is the Carolina Panthers. Who we got in third place?
My vote, I probably think the New Orleans Saints.
I'm going to agree with you.
We got the New Orleans Saints. This is a team, 3 or 4 years ago when they had Sean Payton, my God, they were a lock in the playoffs every year. I mean, I do think they would have went to the Super Bowl if it wasn't for the pass interference, and I hate that for the Saints fans.
Imagine how different things would be right now, because they probably – that was an incredible team. They probably would have won the Super Bowl.
That was the year that the Patriots beat up the Rams like 13-3. It was just a boring Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But now they got Dennis Allen, and I'm just gonna tell you, I think Dennis Allen is the dumbest coach in the world. I don't know how they didn't fire him last year. I thought it was a bad hire in the first place. But
they hired from within. He was their defensive coordinator for a number of years. Under Sean Payton. He'd been with the Saints for since 20
Before
he actually had been with them. He had a tenure with them in their Super Bowl run in 2009 or 10 or whenever that was. Then he
and then
left,
he took the Raiders.
and then he went to the Broncos and then the Raiders, back to the
He was the
Saints.
Raiders. I'm gonna say he got fired from the Raiders after being the head coach. I think the Saints need to rebuild. I think they don't want to accept that.
Yep.
But my God, they need to rebuild. They're in cap hell right now. They have no money whatsoever. They have half of it to Michael Thomas, half of it to Derek Carr, who when he signed when Tom Brady retired, he became the best at the time before Baker Mayfield. He became the best quarterback in the NFC South. He blew that out now because of what the Falcons did, and that's just my opinion. But I don't know what the Saints are doing. You got a stud in Chris Olave out on the wide receiver. You got a perennial Pro Bowler in Alvin Kamara when he can stay on the field from off field issues. You got Derek Carr's not a terrible quarterback, but I just don't think he falls. How do I say this? He does not handle the pressure very well whatsoever, in my opinion. And you don't have money. You can't really do much. I mean, yes, you signed Chase Young, who I kind of think if he hasn't been injured, he's been a stud whenever he's played. But, I mean, you let go of Michael Thomas. I mean, you do well, I guess, in the draft. I don't really like their draft class besides Kool-Aid at second pick because I thought that was a steal. I didn't like your first round. I mean, you picked a tackle out of Oregon State with the 14th pick. I was a little shocked by that. And then, I mean, you pick Spencer Rattler in the 5th round. Why? I mean, do you plan on replacing Derek Carr anytime soon?
Yeah, a little odd there. We wondered if Spencer Rattler. We knew he would probably get drafted because Spencer Rattler had a great high school recruit. Look, he's an all around solid quarterback. Don't think he got the greatest development at South Carolina of all places, but I do think that he's a good quarterback. But I mean, Derek Carr. Look, if you're going to replace Derek Carr, I don't think Spencer Rattler is the guy to do it.
It kind of reminds me when the Falcons picked Desmond Ridder. It's kind of like,
yes.
It feels like Spencer Rattler is going to be the bridge quarterback because they're going to it sounds like they're just going to give up on Derek Carr anytime now, especially if they're batting. If they're going to finish low, like I think they will this year, it's going to be a bridge quarterback. Look, Spencer, just finish out the season. We'll not give you next year so we can get a higher pick. Because they have no money. No money.
Yeah. Look, I think that you're right. This is one of those franchises that they don't want to let go of the fact that they could be really good, right? Look at what we just had 5 years ago, right? Look, all of that's gone. You have no money. Rebuild. Get some good draft classes together. Make a few good free agent signings after you can build some money for a couple years, and then go from there. Pro sports is so different than, say, college sports, where you got to go through cycles of being good and bad. Every now and then you're going to have a bad period, and I think that things are just going to continue to get worse for the Saints if they don't do something now. I think that this could be an 8-win team, 8 or 9 win possibly, but I do agree that this is a third place team.
That's their best scenario. That's really good. That's their best. That's as good as it's going to get. But I'm like you. I could see it going as low as winning 6 games.
I agree. Absolutely. I don't like the situation in New Orleans whatsoever. But moving on to second place. Who you got second place in the division?
I got Tampa Bay. I'm going to be honest.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I've got the Falcons at second place, but I think we can each make cases for why we have both and agree why each of us have the other way around. So go ahead. Let's talk about the Bucs first then. So
you got Todd Bowles. I think he's a hell of a defensive coordinator and a head coach. Well, he's okay as a head coach, but defense. Oh man, he is a hell of a defensive play caller.
Yeah, really, really good. 17-17 so far. But look, Baker Mayfield got himself some money. I think Baker Mayfield has found himself a home there in Tampa Bay. Came out of nowhere. It was a random signing last year. Okay, Baker Mayfield to the Buccaneers turned out to be a bit of a jackpot. You go in, you're one of the final 8 teams. And I think that this team could very well win the division and make it this is a playoff level team. Wild card or division winner, this is a playoff level team. I don't know how deep into a playoff they can go, but this is a playoff level team as well as the Falcons, I do think. I think the Falcons are more of a fringe playoff team. Either way, I say the Falcons are more of a fringe playoff team because I think they're going to take a big, big step forward. But I think with all of the returning production in Tampa, I think I have the Buccaneers winning the division.
I see. My only problem with the Bucs is you lose David Canales, who was kind of Baker Mayfield's savior.
That's a good point.
You replace him with Liam Cohen. Like Liam Cohen came, and if you've watched our Kentucky SEC preview, we talked about this. I think he's a good college offensive coordinator. But if I'm thinking of offensive coordinators that makes the jump from college to NFL, I don't think of Liam Cohen from Kentucky.
Yeah, you would think of a guy like Ryan Grubb, who goes like from Alabama or Washington to Seattle.
Chip Kelly, who's now at Ohio State.
Yeah,
you don't think. I didn't think of Liam Cohen, and that kind of shocked me a little bit. They re-signed Mike Evans, re-signed Baker Mayfield, re-signed veteran Levante David, but they lost Devin White. Devin White, who I thought was a stud, he kind of took it off a little bit. But they drafted, and I think he's going to be a stud from Alabama, Chris Braswell. I think he can replace that efficiency from Devin White. I think that'll be really good. And they drafted a center, that Tyler Lindenbaum or whatever his name is from Duke. I think that fixes their hole on the offensive line. I do think Bucs are going to be a good team. I think it's between the Bucs and the Falcons for whoever wins that division.
I agree. I do believe that the betting favorite right now is actually the Falcons. Looking on FoxSports.com right now, they actually do have the Falcons as -125 favorite to win the division. And we can go ahead and we can kind of hit on both the Falcons and the Bucs, I guess. Reason being, look, I do agree that the Falcons are going to take a huge step forward. You made such a great decision signing Kirk Cousins. We can talk about Michael Penix here in a minute. Right, rise up. You got your Falcons shirt on. Obviously not a homer, but yeah, you made a lot of great moves. Maybe Arthur Blank gets him a trophy. Who knows? I don't know, but I do think that this is going to be a good step forward, and it started with Kirk Cousins.
I think it started with you got Kirk Cousins, you had Raheem Morris, who's a hell of a defensive coordinator, I believe. You hired who I think, he is going to be a candidate for assistant coach of the year next year, Zach Robinson. He was the Rams passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the last 2 years. He's now our offense coordinator, and we now have a defense coordinator named of Jimmy Lake. Does that name ring a bell for you?
Jimmy Lake does ring a bell to me. Jimmy Lake came from Washington, did he not? Let me see where he came from. Came from the Rams.
He replaced old Chris Peterson at Washington.
That is correct, and did not do very well. So Kalen DeBoer is who replaced him at Washington.
Yes, Kalen DeBoer is the one that saved the program from Jimmy Lake. But I think the Falcons. I think Raheem Morris is a hell of a players coach. He was our interim head coach after we fired Dan Quinn a couple years back before we hired Arthur Smith. And they wanted Raheem back then, but we just didn't hire him. I think Raheem's a really good players coach. This is not including the draft. I'm not including the draft because I think we had the best offseason in all of NFL. I mean, we signed Kirk Cousins. We signed Darnell Mooney, wide receiver from Chicago. We signed Ray McLeod, who's a hell of a kick return specialist. And we traded Desmond Ridder for Rondale Moore. You remember when Rondale Moore played at Purdue 2 or 3 years ago?
Of course.
Shocked we was able to give up Desmond Ridder for that, to go to Arizona to be the backup for Kyler. But we didn't really do a lot on defense. And then we get to the draft.
So let me talk about that real quick. So you mentioned, look, there's all the Falcons off seasons just seem to always go awry in some way or another. Very often in the draft, and you kind of had to know, okay, things are going a little bit too good right now. We got us Kirk Cousins on a great deal. We got a few other guys like Raheem Moore. Michael Penix, after you just signed a huge deal with Kirk Cousins.
Kind of like last year. We drafted Bijan Robinson. Love Bijan Robinson. I think he's a stud. But hell, we just had Tyler Algier just rush for 1,000 yards. Why did we draft a run back? But you know what? Bijan's a stud. Why the hell did we get him? Why did we get a quarterback? We just paid this guy.
Look, it could be an upside. It could be an upside. Maybe, look, if Kirk Cousins somehow gets injured, hey, you got a great backup that I think who will be really good in the NFL in Michael Penix. You could probably throw Michael Penix in some good situations that maybe can fool a defense every now and then. Who knows? Michael Penix, he's got a really good deep ball. Who really knows? But yeah, it was definitely a big question mark, the major question mark of that whole draft. We'll see how it goes. But I agree, one or two, some mixture of the of the Bucs and the Falcons as 1 or 2 in the division, Saints at 3, and the poor Panthers at 4.
I agree.
I agree. So yeah, that kind of does it for our NFC South preview. Look, we're excited.
Congratulations, Bronny James. Totally not nepotism. Congratulations, man. It's not because of who your father is or nothing.
LeBron James is going to kill the Los Angeles Lakers.
Hey, Sam. He averaged 4 points a game, but that boy deserves to be in the NBA.
He will. Look, there's been a lot of talk about, hey, maybe he'll just be a G League guy. No, they're going to make a roster spot for Bronny James. If they were willing to draft him, they're going to make a roster spot for him. He'll be sitting on the bench.
He only scored 4 more points than you did in college.
Hey, look, I was a baller. So, I mean, if that says anything.
Bronny, I'm just telling you, man, congratulations, man. Definitely it's not because of who your dad is or nothing like that.
No, whatsoever. All right. We're running a little bit early right now, but we got a bit to talk about with this question of the day. Because it's 4th of July coming up. What is this question?
I got a couple.
Okay.
One, what is your ideal 4th of July celebration? What would you like you like the water? You like being at the ball game? You like, just sitting at the house watching TV, watching American movies, Independence Day, etc. Mm-hmm. How do you like to spend your 4th of July?
Let me tell you right now, the 4th of July is Sam the Sweaty Boy's favorite holiday.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. Everything about the 4th of July just says fun. You eat good. You're outside in the warm weather. I'm a big summer guy. I know a lot of people don't like the heat, but I'm a big summer guy. You see fireworks. Like, it's like the best holiday around that doesn't have anything to do with presents, right? I feel like Christmas, the whole reason so many people have Christmas is, gifts. Buying gifts, giving gifts, getting gifts. No, 4th of July, you are truly celebrating our great country. Now, I don't know how great our country looked last night, but I tell you what, we're number 1 for a reason, all right? But for me, the best 4th of July, way to celebrate 4th of July is just, I don't know, being around with some friends or family or both. I actually prefer lighting my own fireworks over going to a fireworks show. I'll say that. Are you a fireworks guy?
I don't give a rat's ass.
You don't give a rat's ass. All right, so you're more. We know you're more into the food. Okay, as am I.
To be honest, I can care less about 4th of July because I'm too hot. I like being by the water.
Okay, so you're a pool guy. Yeah. I like a good pool on the 4th of July too. Pool or the beach. Both are going to be crowded on the 4th, but that's part of it. But hey, you know what? Go to the pool, crank open a grill, throw some hot dogs or do some Southern barbecue. Who knows? And just go to town. This year, my family is doing a shrimp boil.
Ooh, okay. You know what? Screw my second question. This is my second question. What is in a Sweaty Boys shrimp boil? What is a guarantee?
Shrimp. Obviously shrimp. Now I'm a big. You and
Water,
I both are big spicy guys. We
spicy.
love some spicy food. You know, you got married this past December. We all came over a couple days before, or the day before, or whatever. You had
Yeah.
yourself a nice shrimp bowl, and you made it nice and hot. Could have been hotter. Could have been hotter.
I was
But
disappointed. The seasoning I bought, the people when I bought this, man, this is spicy, man. You don't need any more. This is hot. This is like really hot. I was so disappointed. Now it was from Kaneka. I'll never listen to Kaneka.
oh, all right. So here. Speaking of that, so some real hot shrimp. All right. You know, I'll just say this: shrimp, some corn on the cob. I am a corn guy. I like potatoes, but to me, potatoes in a shrimp boil, they just don't seem to soak up like the seasoning very well. So it just kind of like you're eating like plain potatoes almost. But I'll throw the potatoes in there. Lots of Kaneka sausage. Lots of it in there.
Yes, you got. I mean, that's my. Continue.
And then now I don't know much about the seasonings and everything like that, but I've watched a lot of people online, and they're throwing some interesting things in there. Like that one black dude from Louisiana, and he's on TikTok.
Lord,
Yes,
smoke
Lord.
Smoke with your eye.
He'll throw like 4 pounds of paprika and all this, and he'll mix it with orange juice. What you know about paprika? What happened to Uncle the cracker guy? Put it on a cracker, dude. I never see him anymore.
I've met him before.
You did meet him. Where did you meet him again?
He was in Gulf Shores.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Must have been the shrimp festival, huh?
No, it was before I left my previous job. He was coming around there meeting everybody because he was going to come up there in November, and then because he was also down there doing food tastings, and I tried some of his food. It's okay. It's not, you know what I mean. I feel like the dude from Yes Law guy. He's way better.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. Do you not think people from Louisiana go a little bit like too hard on their food? Like I feel like it's a little overrated. I love Cajun food, but it's like, do we always have to sit here and say, yeah, people in Louisiana make the best food? I can make, if you give a recipe is a recipe.
They haven't had a cat head's biscuit from Jasper, have they?
They ain't had a damn 5-piece from Jack's.
Shout out to the Browns Groceries in Jasper. You know who you are. You ask me what a cat head biscuit is. A cat head biscuit is a biscuit as big as a cat's head.
Oh. Now what's on this biscuit? Is it just a biscuit or?
But a cat head. Like a catfish.
Okay. Now is it chicken on this biscuit or is it just a biscuit? Chicken, sausage, whatever.
Oh, you just whatever you want. I get bacon and cheese.
Oh, I got you.
It's just a big old biscuit.
That sounds good to me. Making me hungry. Got to eat me some dinner after this. All right. Do you have another question? Let me ask you what's on your shrimp bowl? Your go-to shrimp bowl?
Shrimp, lemons, onions,
okay.
sausage, garlic, some of that extra crab boil, spicy. Put a whole thing of Tony's in there. Put a whole thing of Slappy Mama in there.
Oh.
Put some paprika in there. I want to try it with orange juice. I've been seeing that on there. It says it's supposed to balance it out. I want to try that. And then I put sausage, sometimes mushroom, but I put corn, potatoes, and shrimp.
Shrimp. All right.
Shrimp.
Now, what was your second question here?
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of forgot it.
I kind of don't know. All right. I don't know either. But we're running up against the end here, and we've got another video that we're going to record because, look, we are going on a little bit of a break, but that don't mean that we're going to stop giving you content. So we're going to record something else real quick. Be looking for it next week, and we're going to have some fun with it. So, guys, heads up play. We are out. Drop us your predictions for the NFC South below. Are you Rise Up? Are you Who Dat? Are you Go Bucs? Are you Go Panthers? What are we?
I have something to say before we go. In honor of 4th of July, we probably will not be talking to you guys again before 4th of July. Good morning. In less than an hour, an aircraft from here will join others from around the world, and you'll be launching the largest aerial battle in this history of mankind. Mankind. That word should have a new meaning for all of us today. We cannot be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interests. Perhaps it's the faith that today is the 4th of July. You will once again be fighting for our freedom. not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist, and we should know we win the day. The 4th of July will no longer be known as American holiday, but as the day we know the world declared in one voice. We will not go quietly without into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we will celebrate our Independence Day.